Welcome back to the Angel Scrolls Reverse Song Podcast. I'm Ryan B. Reynolds, host and founder of the Angel Scrolls Project, where I explore reverse song revelations, angelic receivals, and the intersection of Christian mysticism. In the last episode, I explained why I prefer to call myself a Christian mystic. In this episode, I'll expand on that, and then we'll dive into two more song reversals. Let's go back to the earliest religious life of Adam and Eve. The Bible records figures in Adam's line who had extraordinary spiritual experiences, visions, prophetic speech, intimate communion with God, and symbolic names, experiences many readers describe as mysticism or proto-mysticism. How does that connect to me? Mainly because for over 20 years, I have also experienced all three of the main qualifiers: dreams and vision, prophetic speech and communication with God and the angels, and profound spiritual experiences. About 10 years ago, during a series of extended receival sessions, the angels prompted me to research the name Adam Kadmon. That struck me because my mother's maiden name was Kadmon. My grandfather, whom I never met, having emigrated from Hungary to Canada in the early 1900s, also carried the name. Jewish names frequently reflect lineage or a social role of the past or markers of priestly descent such as Cohen and Levi. So then I looked into Adam Kadmon. I discovered this. Adam Kadmon relates to primordial man or heavenly man. It is a Kabbalistic archetype. It's a cosmic blueprint that unfolds from the infinite light of God, not the earthly Adam, but a super-personal pattern through which the Sephiroth and the worlds are manifest. Once I found this out, some of the spiritual experiences I was having began to make sense to me. This leads into the first song reversal that I did by Joe Tex from 1967 called Show Me. The song reversal you are about to hear reads like an invocation of Adam Kadmon's light. The angels' hymns, heavenly devotion, and the call to come home to the light portray a divine blueprint, drawing human hearts into higher order. The song's repeated pairing of love, devotion, and evolution mirrors Kabbalah's idea that the primordial light organizes spiritual life and invites humanity to participate in that unfolding. The reverse songs show angelic music as a vehicle of the primordial man's light. Sound is a channel that awakens devotion, transforms emotion, and helps people be worthy of evolution in the image of that heavenly pattern. This is the first reversal that I did in 2019 that proves the angels are channeling in reverse songs. This is not reverse masking, but a channel that I have opened through many years of seeking God's truth. Keep in mind that the resource is a heavenly connection that I have made, and there is no dark forces in my reverse songs. The song is from Joe Tex called Show Me and came from an official version on YouTube. Show Me is the title track of the 1967 album by Joe Tex, who also wrote the song. It's the reversal of Show Me a Man That's Got a Good Woman.
Everyone with you.
You can imagine the wave of shock and emotion that washed over me as I worked through that first transcription and the profound sense of awe I felt once it was complete. The anticipation only grew stronger knowing that this discovery wasn't mine alone, that I now had the chance to share it with others and invite them into the experience. My next confirmation came when the angels gave me a new task. They suggested I take a DNA test to uncover more about my heritage and bloodline. When the results arrived, I discovered many remarkable details about my ancestry. Yet one of the most extraordinary findings was that Emanuel Swedenborg appeared near the top of my ancestral relatives. I had never heard of him before, but intrigued, I began to research who he was, and what I found was astonishing. Emanuel Swedenborg, sometimes referred to as the Swedish Leonardo da Vinci, was a scientist, philosopher, and visionary. In midlife, he entered a profound period of spiritual encounters that he interpreted as direct, sustained contact with the spiritual world. He described vivid experiences in which music, singing, and harmonic order played a central role. Swedenborg reported hearing angelic music, perceiving musical order as a correspondence of spiritual truths, and understanding melody and harmony as expressions of love and wisdom. His writings went on to inspire the formation of the new church, also known as Swedenborgianism, a family of Christian denominations shaped by his theological insights and visionary accounts. There was also a curious connection to my own last name on my father's side, Reynolds. Although Swedenborg never married, he had a longtime companion, his housekeeper, whose surname was Reynolds. In that era, aristocrats often kept their private lives discreet, and if children were born outside of marriage, they would typically take on the mother's surname. As these pieces began to align, the connections grew clearer. In 2019, I created a video of my DNA test, now available on YouTube, which includes the actual images of the results and documents this remarkable discovery. Although there are limited records of Elizabeth Reynolds and Swedenborg, the discovery of this one has allowed me to make an uncanny connection to my last name. Before I play the next song, Reversal, there's a backstory you'll hear in the intro I recorded then. It came about after more than 15 years of work receiving angelic messages from different sources. By then, I had hoped the new song Reversals I posted would spark conversation for. It seemed people visited the forum, but everyone stayed silent. Their quiet felt like judgment, as if they wanted me to fail because of their own spiritual beliefs. I wanted to change minds about the dogma surrounding past song reversals, but it seemed like no one was excited like I was. So that silence discouraged me, and I realized now that I was wrong. I wanted feedback and discussion, not passive spectatorship, and at one point I nearly gave up. I expressed my concerns as it seemed as if there were people watching that may have been there not as friends, but to thwart my efforts in documenting what the angels were saying. No one had reached out to me, and that confused me a lot at the time. Over the next year, with God's and the angels' help, my wife and I were able to buy our first home, and I spent the next year or two renovating it. I spent little time for those 2 years in Receival, but the project never left my mind. Without the regular sessions with the angels, our family began to struggle, especially when COVID arrived. So my confusion at the time shaped the video introduction. When you hear the reversal, the angels voice my feelings and thoughts, reflect the viewer's reactions, and include a line attributed to God. So this next reverse video is Bill Withers' 1972 version of Lean on Me. And after an extended period of time, this next song brought me back to the reality of heaven. It's amazing how fast one can forget an incredible message. I also realized that I did not need encouragement from those in the forum because I had all the encouragement I needed from the angels who were always with me.
all I have. You understand my on. You can eat the way I want. You got that make you good partner. I'm not lost. Yes, yes.
When I heard that AristCan did a new version of Lean on Me in remembrance of Bill Withers when he died, I thought I would do a reversal on it and see how close the original matched. The beginning of the reversal started off much different, yet there was quite a twist in the content of the rest. Here is my reversal of the AristCan 2020 version. I know that one was heavy. When I finished transcribing it, the tears flowed. I understand skepticism these days, especially online and around AI. My voice was cloned with Speechify, but the song reversals themselves were not altered. If you'd like to verify, find the original on YouTube, download the track, reverse it, and listen for yourself. Any of you who followed this work know it began with recordings of budgergars channeling messages. I was reversing songs long before voice cloning technology existed. Check my YouTube channel and you'll see the timelines. The next episode I may share a few budgerigar recordings. They're hard to believe, but worth hearing. For now, I'll sign off with a touch of humor from my budgie Victor, who passed in 2000. He had a wicked sense of humor, and I say this with complete seriousness. This work is real, and I swear to God and the angels I am not feeding you lies. Hi there, it's Ryan. I've been really busy for this last week or so, and I don't have a complete presentation for you. Instead, I thought I'd just do a short one on going over one of the recordings and give you a few tips on that might help you hear them better or understand them better, even when they do have captions. This one I'm going to do is the short but funny clips of Victor. It's one of the first ones I did in presentation 1, and it's when he was around a year old. At that time, he was doing mostly mimicries because that's what I taught him, and he practiced day in and day out for him, and then I would record him. And it wasn't until after I recorded him, and even a year or so later, that I picked up some of the things that he was saying and putting in his own funny little things or his own little comments in the mimicries that I was teaching him. I also want to show you, on YouTube, they have this little settings tab, and you can click on it, and you can change the speed. Right now it's set at normal. If you click on it, you can go up to 0.75, and I find that speed a very good one to listen to him if it's too fast for you to hear him. But right now we'll just play it on normal. So, the amazing thing about Victor was that he learned to laugh on his own, and I never taught him any of that part at all. I didn't teach him to say that, see, it's nuts and all this. He just said that on his own, and one of the funny parts about it is where he swears and he says no shit. I think it's right. Let's see if I can find that. Right there, at that point right there where he says no shit, I didn't even pick that up until a year or two afterwards. I taught him a lot of mimicries in the beginning, and he knew a lot of them, like knick knack patty whack. He could say the alphabet all the way through. I even taught him the Tweety Bird, but he always seemed to throw something special in, and at the time I would often think he was making a mistake, but it wasn't until, like I said, until I recorded him, and I spent a lot of time translating it to see what he was really saying. So let's go on to this next part. Like I said, I taught Victor the alphabet all the way through, but that was one of the first times that he ever just did random letters like that. I found it interesting that he used the word, he said the
letter K, and then he said cage. So I don't know if he was just making fun of the way the alphabet is, or if he actually thought that it started with a K. But later on, you'll find out that I believe he could even read, because he would sit on my shoulders and often comment on what I was reading. So let's continue on from there. Yeah, that was one of the things I definitely taught him, and it didn't take me long. It only took me probably 2 or 3 hours of practicing with him on that one. And this next one, I mentioned the Guinness Book of Records to him, but I never taught him to say it, and he throws in his own little funny thing in at the end with this one as well. So Victor could not only laugh, but he could cough too. And probably that was an imitation of my cough, because I smoked a lot at the time, and I was coughing a lot. And then here's the next part. I never taught him either one of those. He just come up with that on his own. He probably heard me say it before to my son if he didn't do something I wanted him to or something. And he might have been just making fun of me when I said it. Victor had an amazing sense of humor. He could joke and make you laugh about almost anything. And not only humor, but he was very symbolic in what he said, and really had a heart for humanity and loved people as well. I never taught him to say that. He must have heard it somewhere. I might have said apple peaches pumpkin pie, but he come up with the happiness is pumpkin pie, spit it in the kitty cat's eye. And this next one, the Tweety Bird one, I did teach him. It's pretty cool. Victor loved cheese, and when he starts talking about it, he pretends he's eating it as well. One thing about Budgie's speeches, they've got such a small voice that it takes a lot of energy to throw the words out. And not only that, a lot of the words that they say are really quick, and you can miss them in a split second, because they can, especially Victor, he could talk over 200 words a minute. And that's why I had to record him, and often I would have to slow it down just to get what he's saying. The other thing too is, when they speak, they usually start with mimicries, and they practice and they learn. That's what Victor did. But then he, a little bit later on, not long after this, maybe about a month or so after this, he began talking, stopped using the mimicries, and he began talking in full-blown speech. And he was saying the things that he said in future videos that you'll see for the first time. So it was a little bit difficult to understand him, and it took me many years to get some of these videos right. At the same time, I evolved in my understanding of him, and some pretty miraculous things happened with regards to the connection that I was getting. So, and you'll see how my previous translations weren't as good as the ones I do now. That's why I'm doing the new presentations, because there's so much more that I missed, and so much more that's been added to the understanding of what he was actually saying.
There's this Budgie back to Victor. Earl Smart smiles Budgie. Welcome to What's Up, Dude? What's Up? Victor's a good issue.
So I know that was just kind of a quick, funny clip. I'm going to get more advanced into the other ones, which are much longer and more complex. So I just thought I would start off with that, and cheers, and we'll see you next time.